Welcome in, everyone, to the Let's Talk Network. Today we are talking Pac-12. We are going to get into a Pac-12 season predictor, just a way that we see the season possibly playing out. We're going to go through every single game for every single Pac-12 team in every single week. You'll be able to, with the help of our friends at Playoff Predictors, you'll be able to see the win-loss and the conference record on the left side. So let's jump right into it. Some of these we'll skip by really quickly. Some of them we'll dive into a little bit more, some of the more interesting ones. But I think this one's pretty easy right away. USC, San Jose State.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to disagree on this one. USC is just way better.
Yeah. Same with Arizona State, Southern Utah. I think they should win that game. This one is slightly more interesting, this next one. Stanford, Hawaii. I don't think either team is great, but I do think Stanford has more talent. I'm going to go Stanford.
I agree with you. I think Stanford's a bit better than Hawaii is. They're not great, though.
Stanford's offensive power can really kind of show out in that game, and I think it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. This is one of the ones that I think is a little more contested this week. Washington State, Colorado State. I don't think Colorado State is totally in the dumps, but I am predicting Washington State to get a win there. I think they're the better team.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that, too. I like Washington State over Colorado State there.
I think this is a fun one.
Yeah, this is the most interesting.
This is one of the games we want to kind of highlight a little bit for week one. Obviously, TCU, national championship last year. So this is a big challenge for Colorado. If Colorado come out here and get the win, that's huge. With that being said, I think TCU gets the win.
This is going to show what Colorado's roster really is. You know, they brought in some guys that are talented, and if they can stick, then that is good. I don't think anyone really thinks they have a chance in this game.
Yeah.
But if they can show well, then that could bode well for them.
They're going to lose for sure, but like if they can avoid getting slaughtered, I think that would actually say quite a bit about their improvement.
I agree. Okay.
Arizona. UCLA over Coastal. Coastal's decent, actually.
I think that's a decent challenge. Yeah. I do think UCLA will win. I don't think that is like a shoe-in. If you remember early last year, UCLA and Grambling State, or I think it was Grambling, but it was like a kind of a close game until the fourth quarter.
Really strange.
They almost lost. Yeah. But I am predicting UCLA to win.
I agree
UCLA at home, it's going to be hard for Coastal to do much.
Yeah.
Cal over North Texas.
Yeah, I think Cal has improved this year.
Oregon over Portland State. USC
over Nevada.
Probably the biggest game of the week one.
Yeah, week one. This is the most competitive, I'd say.
I'd say it's hard to beat Utah at home. I got Utah winning.
Yeah, I think Utah as well. They're just the more talented team.
Yeah, revenge game from last season as well.
Yeah, Florida can keep it close, I think, especially depending on Cam Rising's health. As we all know, he tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But Utah should win that game.
And then I'm going Washington this one.
I am as well. I do think Boise State is a good team, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're a decent team.
I think they're the favorites to win the Mountain West because I think they're pretty good. This one I actually think could be a lot closer than people think. Mm-hmm. I am going to go Washington, but I think it's going to kind of set off some alarm bells.
On Boise a little bit, and it's like, oh, wow, we let that get close.
I think it's going to set off a little bit of alarm bells out there.
And Oregon State over San Jose.
Yeah, definitely.
How does that work?
Well, the USC plays week 0 over San Jose State. If you see USC is twice, because they play both week 0 and week 1.
Gotcha.
And so, the USC will have a bye in week 2 because they played week 0 and week 1. It's just how they set it up. Almost like cheating, but that's what USC is known for.
Yeah, a little bit,
So let's go to week 2.
Let's go to week 2. Oklahoma State, Arizona State. This is one of the games of the week right here.
Yeah. I got Oklahoma State winning this. I don't know, actually.
I don't think Oklahoma State's that.
This is the one time, I think this is the worst team Oklahoma State's had in a while. Mm-hmm. From everything that I've seen, Big 12 Media Day, people are not high on Oklahoma State this year. I actually think at home, Arizona State's going to take that.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. I think that you just have down years as a team sometimes. Yeah, and I think that's Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for their program. I just think it's a little bit of a down year. And Arizona State, especially early in the season with their new coach, they're going to want to get that win. They're going to be so fired up. It's going to be a sold-out stadium in Arizona State.
Big win for them.
Big win for them, yeah.
I think I got Utah winning this game as well. Just at Baylor, I think Utah's more talented. It's going to be rough for them to win. Utah has some away game woes that's been haunting them for the past few years, so that could be a big challenge. But I got Utah winning this one.
Yeah, I think Utah wins a really close game.
I agree with you. I think Utah, talent-wise, is a lot better of a team. But I think that road advantage for Baylor, that could play into this. But I'm still going Utah.
I think Utah at home, probably 10 to 14 point favorite. On the road, probably a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nebraska, Colorado.
Interesting game.
This is a big, massive rivalry right here. This is going to be a tough game. Emotions are going to be high. Deion's first rivalry game. But I believe in Nebraska.
I like Colorado at home.
You like Colorado at home?
Yeah, it's gonna be the first. It's gonna be the first home game that with under the Deion Sanders era.
It's gonna be sold out. We know that.
It's gonna be huge.
But how much of that is Husker fans?
I mean, I can't honestly say I think Colorado's gonna win this game.
Yeah,
I have to go Nebraska there.
I don't think Nebraska is incredible, but
I think
they're better than
bad.
Colorado. Yeah.
Oregon State.
Pretty easy to
Oregon
gloss
State.
over.
I got San Diego State beating UCLA.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think San Diego State's a really good team. I don't think they're gonna be
future PAC member.
That's true.
This may be a little bit of hatred towards UCLA leaving. Maybe, I don't know. It might be
a bit of a hater take. For me, I think UCLA will take this.
I just think San Diego State at home, that's a good team. They gave some really competitive teams a lot of trouble at home. Utah in 2021. So I think San Diego State.
You have a little bit of a point.
I actually think I agree with Ethan here because
I didn't realize
the new quarterback for UCLA, just kind of a retooling, I am going to go San Diego State with the upset. I think they'll be motivated to beat the Pac-12 teams.
How is that new quarterback, the freshman quarterback, Dante Moore?
Yeah, how does he play? It's up in the air.
How is he going to handle the hostile environment of a sold-out San Diego State?
So that's kind of the first.
Oregon over Texas Tech pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech is decent, but Oregon is they're just a lot better than
USC
Texas
over
Tech
Stanford.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that one's close.
Washington
over Tulsa, yeah.
Ooh, this is a fun one.
Wisconsin
versus This is
Washington
interesting
State.
because Washington State beat them last year.
Yeah.
Washington, it was on the road. Wisconsin, obviously, has a new head coach coming in, Luke Fickell from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
He is implementing, if you can believe it, the air raid at Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's almost unbelievable
That
to
is
even
shocking.
think about.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Do we trust he can get them ready quickly? They definitely have more talent than Washington State. Or do we trust Washington State's continuity, their quarterback returning? I think I'm going Washington State.
I'm going to go Washington State.
I think on the road, I'm going to go, at home, I'm going to go
I like
Washington
a home
State.
game Washington State versus a team that hasn't been established yet with a new head coach.
Yeah. Arizona, Mississippi State, another big game.
I go Mississippi State here. That's Arizona away. That's going to be rough for them to really kind of battle out in a big, hard SEC environment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree. Mississippi State returns one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country, and they just have more talent than Arizona does. Arizona's still early in the rebuild. This isn't a crushing loss for them. Mississippi State.
Auburn
this kind of
over
same
Cal
thing
here.
For Cal. Big
Auburn,
SEC powerhouse coming in first.
There's just a huge talent diff.
Yeah.
It's just a massive talent gap.
Maybe in a few years.
Yeah.
Let's head to week 3.
Okay. Fresno State, Arizona State. This is a really
is
This
interesting
will be a
game.
fun game. I like Fresno State a lot.
I think I'm picking Fresno.
Yeah.
Home Arizona State,
maybe
Power
not.
5 level. I'm going to go Arizona State.
It's one of those things where
I think I'll go
it's
Arizona
hard for
State
me
as well.
to take those group of fives away versus
Yeah.
those Power
Yeah.
Fives. I'm going to stick with Arizona State.
It's like a San Diego State
Wow,
situation.
so we shockingly have Arizona State starting 3-0.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
That's like,
I mean,
Once you get to Pac-12 play, it might be a little bit
Maybe.
different.
I'd be a little surprised if that happens. I think I would be pretty surprised if that happens.
I don't see many wins, though, in the future for them.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
terms
this
of
is the
this
soft
schedule.
part of the
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
What do you
I got
guys...
Colorado beating Colorado State at home.
I
I've
think
got them for that, too.
I think this is going to be a barn burner, though. This is going to be insanely tight, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be their most fun game of the season.
Yeah, I probably agree. The
I think
rivalry
this
game.
will be a pretty... I think Colorado will be a little bit better, but it will be decently... It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And it is going to be hype in there.
Okay,
next
Oregon
one.
State, San Diego
I
State.
like Oregon State a lot over San Diego State.
Agreed. I
Yeah.
think San Diego State coming off the high of an upset on our end versus UCLA kind of gets them have a really fun game, but Oregon State
And
kinda
at home,
brings them
Oregon
down.
State, I just don't think they can
They're
win
tough to
there.
beat at home.
Exactly.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Stanford's new head coach used to coach at Sacramento State,
Wow.
Troy Taylor. So I do think Stanford is going to win. They
agree
just
with
have
you
more
there.
talent.
Oh yeah, again a group of 5 team. Are they even a FCS? Are they an San Diego?
They're an FCS team, Sacramento
FCS
State.
team coming in to Stanford. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
for them.
another FCS team in the Idaho
Yeah,
Vandals.
I
Cal is
like
going to
Cal over Idaho there.
Another FCS team, UCLA.
Oregon over Hawaii.
win. Utah over Weber State, Washington over North Carolina. Oh,
This is an interesting
wow.
game. Washington, Michigan State.
Washington
At Michigan State. That's gonna be fun. It kind of goes through a high-powered offense of Washington to the ground and pound, rough-nosed Michigan State team.
Yeah. I genuinely have no idea what Michigan
For-
State is going to look like.
For me,
Neither do I.
I like Washington in this matchup personally.
Yeah, they beat them pretty soundly last year.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of basing it off of because they have that home and home schedule with them. And they were able to have a relatively convincing win last year, and so I like their chances.
Yeah,
going
I'm gonna go Washington.
I think this is a Michael Penix standout game.
Yeah,
it could be.
Michael Penix won't be routed by going to Michigan State either because he played at Indiana, and so he's used to the Big Ten teams, used to the Big Ten environments. Yep. Lean Washington there, although I do think there's some upset potential.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Speaking of upset,
Arizona over UTEP.
You're
choosing UTEP?
I don't know why.
Okay.
I have no idea. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All I'm saying
Ignore
is
that.
Get this man out of here. We're going with there.
That's all I'm saying. Hey,
Arizona at home lost to UTEP.
come at
Mark
me.
it down.
Come at me when it happens. Week 3.
Arizona home lost to UTEP.
Yeah.
Who has that on their bingo card?
Okay, here's the first week of Pac-12 play.
This is when it gets real.
It gets amazing right here.
Okay, USC over Arizona State. Do we all agree with that?
I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, even on the road.
Arizona Stanford. That could be close.
I'm taking Arizona. I think Arizona is going to be.
I like
Stanford.
Arizona's team a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I just said they lost.
Definitely Oregon.
Colorado
at home against Boulder. Okay, now this is probably the game of the week. UCLA, Utah. UCLA's got a tough team. They have good players, but Utah home has been pretty much
Utah's
unbeatable.
been very, very good.
We're gonna go Utah.
I feel like losing DTR and Zach Charbonnet is a big loss for UCLA, especially coming into Utah. It's gonna be hard for them to bounce back.
I like Washington over Cal.
Yeah, I can't really see them losing that one. This is one that I think has a little bit of upset potential.
Oregon State, this will be a game where they prove like if they're ready to contend.
Yeah.
Is a good way to put it, I think.
Well, a road win over a good opponent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're ready to contend, so I would choose that as a
I'm going to go Oregon State as well.
I agree.
Okay, let's take a little break after the first after the first 4 weeks, and let's look at the conference standings a little bit. So we have 5 teams in the Pac-12, still 4-0. I think that's due to maybe a little bit easier opening schedule than it was last year or the years past. And obviously, the top 5 teams in the Pac-12 this year are just really freaking good.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, they're just really good. After that, we have a few 3-1 teams, a couple 2-2 teams, and a Colorado team that's 1-2.
Which I think is very reasonable.
Yeah. So honestly, like I predict the Pac-12 non-conference to go pretty well this year. They're going to lose to some SEC teams like Mississippi State and Arizona, Auburn and Cal. Those aren't going to go well for them.
Yeah.
But I do think that every other game besides that they have a decent
good chance at winning.
I'll look at the Utah-Baylor game and kind of put some question marks. How does Baylor look at home against a pretty good Utah team?
Yeah.
That could be a loss for Utah as well.
Yeah, hopefully Utah doesn't disappoint the Pac-12 again after kind of a rough start last year with a loss to Florida in a game they really should have won.
Yep.
Non-conference I think is key for the appearance of the league going forward, especially with
USC
and UCLA losing. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to this week 5.
Okay, this is a big one right here.
Yeah, this is the biggest game of the week.
I'll be honest,
Utah Oregon State.
We skip this one and go, and then we'll talk about that one last because this is probably one of the biggest. This kind of decides what's going on. Like we'll talk about USC, Colorado.
Okay, we'll go to
because those ones are a little bit less.
USC is going to beat Colorado. Yes.
Oregon, Stanford,
Washington.
You never know.
That one has a little bit of upset potential for me because I think that Washington's defense, while probably a little improved, still isn't going to be.
They're bad enough that Arizona could kind of make this a shootout
and hang around. Well, if you look at it last year, I mean, Arizona State literally beat Washington at home, which was a pretty big upset. Washington allowed 45 points from ASU.
That's abysmal.
That's a pretty significant amount of points. But I am still going to go Washington. I do think they're better.
I think DeLuca has a really good game as well.
Yeah.
I think Cal gets this one.
I think Cal gets it too.
Cal at home.
I was feeling Cal as well.
And the big reason why I wanted to say was skip over this Utah-Oregon State game because I think there's going to be a lot of disagreements here. We can kind of discuss a little bit more.
Yeah, for me, I think Oregon State is going to be really tough to beat at home. I think that their offensive line will probably be able to push around Utah's defensive line and they'll be able to run the ball. I'm going to go Oregon State here.
Man, for me, this is easily the closest game so far.
Yeah.
I like Utah as a team better than Oregon State, but I do with Oregon State being at home, this is going to be a tough place for Utah to come play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this all depends on if DJU can really come in and produce like he's expected. But I do have Oregon State
Yeah.
winning here. I think
Gotcha.
the home field advantage is big for them. They both play so similar that it's kind of hard
Exactly.
to
We do
decide.
have to choose. There's no like choose later button here.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
this is what we're picking, but I would not be shocked if
Yeah, this is a
Utah won
50-50
this.
coin flip.
Yeah,
So
Whoever
this is
wins
a big
the
game.
that is
for
a really
Oregon
big
State.
question mark for me.
You know, Utah drops an early conference game. They don't have much margin for error anymore. Back-to-back defending champions. So, yeah, I mean, a loss to Surly would really put them on their heels.
Yeah, let's move on to week 6.
Okay, a little shorter slate here with a couple bye weeks.
Yeah, USC over Arizona.
I think that's pretty fair at home. I'm going to take Arizona State over Colorado.
I'm gonna take Colorado here.
I think
Interesting.
Colorado as well.
Okay. Yeah.
This
I
is
think
just a game
Colorado
where-
will be improved. I think they'll win this one. I just have a feeling.
Okay.
I think this is one of their another prove-it game. Like, hey, can we actually be a team that we have
Exactly.
a chance to beat?
I don't
Yeah.
think Colorado will have a ton of wins. I think this is one of the only ones they'll
This
get
is one of the
in
ones.
terms of the conference play.
I think
Yeah.
Oregon State off a big high win against Utah goes out there and absolutely pummels Callaway.
Yeah.
I don't think that will be too bad. I like
I'm going to pick UCLA
here.
at home.
I agree.
I'm going to pick
Home
UCLA
field.
At home. Yeah.
Let's go ahead under week 7.
Stanford, Colorado.
Stanford at Colorado.
I think I'm probably going Colorado there. I think I'm
I
leaning
think
Colorado.
they'll be a bit improved. I'm gonna go Colorado too.
Yeah.
Me too.
USC Notre Dame.
USC at Notre Dame. I'm going Notre Dame there for an upset. I think Notre Dame will be much improved this year. Their recruiting has been insanely good.
A full year of having
Full year of their new coach,
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman.
Yep.
I think I'm going Notre Dame. I think they're going to be physical. I think it's going to look a lot like the Utah game from last year. And I think that Notre Dame's going to win.
I like that, but I'm gonna go USC here. I think Caleb Williams is so freaking good that he's gonna put him on his back and carry them. To
Yeah,
win over
I'm going
Notre Dame.
USC as well. I think Caleb Williams is gonna win back-to-back Heisman's, and I think this is gonna be like a marquee game for that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go USC for me.
Yeah. Okay, here, UCLA at Oregon State. Again, I just can't pick against Oregon State at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, I
They're-
like Oregon
I'm
State at
going
home.
Oregon State.
Utah versus Cal. Utah at home.
Utah, home. This is a
Oregon
huge
Washington
rivalry
big
game.
rivalry game.
I think this is
They're
kind
at
of
Washington. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
can Washington prove it. This is the Washington. Hey, we're here. Freaking
Yeah.
respect us.
Yeah.
But this is also, hey, Oregon, you were picked to finish out below them. Show them
Yeah.
why. Show them why you disagree.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an interesting game.
I'm going to Oregon. I think Oregon is better than
Yeah.
Washington.
I like a win for Oregon at Washington. I just think I like their team, and I actually especially like how they match up with Washington.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I think Washington's not going to get any pressure on Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is going to have a field day. I think Oregon will win.
I think this might be the game of the year in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
Oregon,
this-
Washington.
this could be a
It could
good
be the
one.
game of
This
the
can
year.
either cement Washington as that powerhouse that people are projecting, or Oregon say, "Hey, we're not gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect us." And I
Ariz-
like
yeah.
Washington State here.
Arizona,
Washington
Washington State.
State.
I'm actually going Arizona. I think Arizona's better than Washington State by a little bit. I like their offense better. I think that Cam Ward is prone to mistakes. And so I wouldn't be, well, Jaden Delora is too.
Cam
but I'm
Ward
riding,
didn't look great last year.
I'm
by
riding
any
Jaden Delora
means.
more than Cam Ward. And so I'm going to go Arizona. Jaden Delora
You know,
Does
always
Washington
wants to play
State-
good against his
you
old
know,
team.
I agree with you. It's a little bit of a comeback for Jaden Delora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Going
like
back to
that.
Washington State.
I think I'm leaning slightly Washington State, but
I'm going Arizona.
I definitely see Arizona
Yeah.
too. In some ways,
I say we take a little break again.
Week 8
and
it's getting real.
Yeah, let's
Do
talk
our
about
standing
the
review.
conference standings. So number one is Oregon State 7-0, 4-0, which is, if that happened, Corvallis would be
A
bumping.
madhouse.
Can you believe it? Can you believe the hype that would be? This might be their best season in history.
Yeah.
Oregon 6-0, 3-0, plugging along. I don't think, besides the Washington game, I don't feel like they've been tested. But that Washington win,
No.
obviously. USC,
None of
great
these
win
teams
over
have had a
Notre Dame.
super hard schedule in the top 3 yet.
Yeah,
They've
Utah,
all had pretty easy schedules.
5-1, 2-1, really got tested by Oregon State, dropped that one on the road. And then Washington 5-1, 2-1, just dropping that rivalry game to Oregon. So I think that it's still really anyone's game in the
Yeah.
top 5. There are many scenarios in which any of these teams could make the Pac-12 championship in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think a sleeper team that is a little bit on the bottom half right now that can make a big jump in the second half of the season, it would be UCLA. They're 1-2 in conference play. I think they kind of got the brunt of the schedule right at the start, and that's
Yeah.
like a little bit
Yeah.
of a. Wouldn't
They
say cupcake.
definitely had a hard schedule to start.
Front loaded.
Probably, yeah. The only harder schedule than theirs was probably Utah's to start. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let's talk about UCLA Stanford. I do think UCLA is going to get that one.
I agree.
Stanford, I think, will be better than they were last year, but not by much.
I
it's
think
the first year.
I think this will be a random game UCLA drops. So I personally like
You're
Stanford.
going to predict
but
an upset?
if you guys are both liking UCLA,
It all depends if the Stanford fans show up. It's
I
been
don't think they
notorious
really will
recently.
show up, but I think they might win anyways.
The thing that everyone's got to remember is no one has ever gone through this conference undefeated in conference play.
Yeah.
The best was 8-1 last year USC, 8-1 2021 Utah. It was the best that people have ever done.
Yeah.
Okay, Washington State at Oregon. This one was really close last year. when
Yeah,
it was at Washington
State.
State.
That game terrified me as a Utah fan. I thought we were going to lose to Washington State after seeing that game.
Yeah, but this Washington State Oregon game was really close last
Yeah.
year. I'm gonna go Oregon though. I just
think
think they're
same.
that good.
And
this
at
year.
home, too.
Again, Bo Nix is really dang good. So I think Bo Nix is the big favorite here.
Yeah, clear game of the week, Utah USC.
Yeah.
Utah obviously got the better of them twice last year, including the Pac-12 championship. How do you guys see this one playing out?
This is hard. I like Utah a lot. I think there's a reason why they're back-to-back Pac-12 champions, but I think USC takes the win here. At home, it's hard to beat them. Coliseum's going to be rocking. They want to beat Utah. The fans want to beat Utah. I think it's a USC win here.
Yeah, I'm taking USC as well.
I'm going to have to say the same.
Yeah, I just think that's pretty tough.
Yeah. And then I like Washington over Arizona State.
Yeah, I think they resound from the loss to Oregon with a massive win over Arizona
Yeah.
State,
Me too.
especially because it's a revenge game for losing to them last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Head into week 9.
Oh, a couple intriguing matchups in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take. Let's see. This is a pretty close game. I think I would probably edge Washington State. I think they just have a little bit more talent than ASU does. I'm gonna edge Washington State.
I'm going to give ASU the edge just for home. I think this might be a game that they are able to pull off. It's pretty close in my mind, though.
Yeah.
By week 9, I feel like the new head coach at Arizona State can kind of get them rallying
Yeah,
behind them.
I
And
feel
think,
that a little bit, too.
Arizona State kind of gets to Cameron Ward, and he makes some mistakes that they can't recover
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
I could see that. I'm gonna pick Washington for this
Washington
Washington
here.
Stanford.
Oregon State over Arizona here.
Yes, although I do think this will be a close game. I think this has major upset potential written on it.
Yeah.
Arizona State is sneaky good at home.
They are.
They struggle on the road though.
They're
Yeah,
sneaky good at home.
Oregon
Oregon State
State
is-
does struggle on the road.
they do struggle on the road.
So I actually,
I think they're going to take
Oregon
their
State.
foot off the gas. I think they're going to lose this game to Arizona.
Okay,
I think they're gonna choke.
I'll be on that.
I
upset.
think they're going to choke. I have a feeling they're going to lose this. I don't know. It doesn't really make a ton of sense.
USC Cal.
USC.
Yeah.
They just don't have
Yeah.
the offense.
UCLA.
I like UCLA.
UCLA. This
Utah
one is a
versus
barn
another
burner.
big one.
I think Utah is going to be really sad about that lost USC. It's going to hang over a little bit, and I'm going to predict Oregon to win that game.
For me, I think Utah at home. I think we're good enough that we're going to be able to defend that home field, and I think we will come out ahead, or Utah will come out ahead of Oregon in this
Yeah.
game.
I agree. I think Utah will beat Oregon. We kind of got stolen a big game last year with both of the starting quarterbacks
Pretty hobbled.
pretty hobbled, so it was kind of a hard game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be a fun game, kind of getting that back. I think Utah comes out in a close game, really hard fought win.
Yeah,
for
I agree with
Utah.
that. It'll be a very, very good game. If you're going to watch a Pac-12 game, this is one to have your eye on.
Yeah.
Let's go to Week 10.
Oregon State at Colorado. I think that one's pretty clear. I'm going to pick Oregon State. Rebound
Same
from
with
an
me.
upset.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm picking UCLA here. I think we've given Arizona a tiny bit too much credit. I mean,
I
they're
agree.
5-3 right now. That's
That
seems
kind of
a
unreal
little
for them.
unrealistic for me.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I'm going to go UCLA.
Oregon at home, that's pretty easy for
Yeah,
me.
I'm picking them over Cal.
Probably game of the week with Cal, USC, Washington.
Washington USC. This, I think Washington is going to win this game.
I think this is the type of game. USC, I don't think they're going to go undefeated in conference play.
I don't either.
And I think this or Utah is going to be their loss, I'd say. Because they don't
Yeah.
play Oregon, correct?
Well, I think coming off of a very physical game. No, they do play Oregon.
They
I think
do.
coming off a very physical game with Utah, they're going to be a little beat up. And I'm going to predict Washington. They're going to surprise them with their speed. They're going to take their foot off the gas. And I
Yeah.
think Washington is going to get the upset here.
I'm with you. I was kind of feeling that too.
I don't see anyone going through the Pac-12 play undefeated this year.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't see it happening.
do this easy Utah win at home for
Yeah.
Yeah, Utah's
Shouldn't be
really
bad.
solid at home.
And
I'm taking Washington
I
State.
get Stanford the win. I think this is a game where an offensive. I think it's going to be either a shootout where one of these two teams, just kind of somehow scores a crazy amount of points and shocks the world a little bit.
I like Washington State.
I'm taking
in this.
Washington State
That's
as
fine.
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
his explanations.
I honestly
Nice.
have no
It might
idea.
be another
I was
good
more
time to
just
do a
like
pause.
Okay,
as
let's
we
set
get
up
to
with
the
a
end of the
little
conference
update
race.
on the conference race. USC at number 1, 9-1, 6-1 in conference. Washington number 2, 8-1, 5-1. Oregon State number 3, 8-1, 5-1. Oregon number 4, 8-1, 5-1. Utah number 5, 7-2, 4-2. It's probably a 6-team race with USC, Washington, Oregon State, Oregon, Utah, UCLA. Obviously, the inside track is those top 4 teams that only have one conference loss.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go. Let's predict this next
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Let's see.
Arizona
Arizona
at
at Colorado.
I'm going Arizona. I think Arizona's better than Colorado, and I think they have more
I
talent.
think they're quite a bit better as well. Arizona, they have a surprisingly easy schedule.
Yeah, I think that's
In a
what I've
weird
noticed. Yeah, in a weird way, it's like
They've there's a
almost-
lot of games where they're not good, but neither's their opponent.
yeah, and like they kind of catch some good people at home. I think
Exactly, where they could have an upset. I don't know.
Yeah,
Arizona's
that works
up
out
there a
for
little
me.
higher than I expected.
Yeah, me as well.
I like Oregon State here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Cal here. Truthfully, Cal come.
I
Washington
think
State
I
coming
am
into
going to take Cal.
Yeah,
I think
Cal will
I am
get-
going to take
yeah.
Cal. Yeah,
UCLA.
I like
think it's a
UCLA
good
here at home.
Rebuilding team for Arizona State coming
Yeah.
to UCLA. It'll be hard to beat them.
and I'm taking Oregon here. I think that Oregon is the perfect team to match up against USC.
It's
Them,
at home.
them
at
and
Oregon.
Washington are probably the only 2 teams that can match USC speed as far as keeping up with them.
Yes.
I think Oregon's defense is better. I think Caleb Williams is going to get a little rattled in a hostile environment. And
I agree.
this, to me, it feels like the Ducks' year. It really does to me. I'm going to pick Oregon.
I agree with you there. I think Oregon, in a good game, they're going to beat USC because they have the home field advantage too, which matters.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can pull one off there for sure.
Yeah.
My only question mark is Bo Nix going to be healthy by week 11? He hasn't been healthy for a big chunk of his career. He doesn't make it very far. He was injured at Auburn. He got injured last year.
That is a valid concern.
Yeah.
But the same thing you can say with Caleb Williams.
We can't, what I would say is we can't really project injuries.
Oh, for sure.
And so we'll do one of these weekly for the Pac-12
Exactly.
slate, and we will get you a video every week updating this, and you'll get the more in-depth picks.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot will change from our picks
Yes.
now to when we actually get into week 2, week 3 of the season.
With you, obviously, you got the two of you picking Oregon. I'm going to pick USC here. I think Caleb Williams is really
Yeah.
dang good. I think Lincoln Riley's offense is going to be really hard to stop. And I don't know if Oregon is the team to do it. So I'm going to pick USC.
Gotcha.
Okay.
For me here, I like Utah in this game. I just like how their team matches up with Washington. I think Utah's going to be able to get pressure on Nix. Sorry, not Nix, on Penix.
Yeah.
that other teams haven't been able to get, and I think Utah will be able to shut down that offense a bit.
Yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for Washington. This seems like what you wouldn't want to play as Washington, a team that will
Ball
control the tensions, be able to run, prevent big plays, and kind of just get into your head a little bit and make it physical. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Utah as well on this one.
I pick Utah. Watch out for a huge game for Jaquindy Jackson.
Yeah, I would put that on like the 200 plus yards on the ground
Yeah.
alert right there, that game. Sweet, let us go into week 12.
2 more weeks left of the college football season here in the
Yes,
Pac-12.
Sir.
And the conference races, you can see, is down to the wire.
It's extremely tight,
extremely
which is
close.
how I think it will play out this
Yeah.
year. There's going to be multiple teams in contention.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Washington State over Colorado just
Yeah.
at home. I think that's the clear pick in my opinion.
Nothing to.
I like Oregon over Arizona State. I don't think anything crazy is
Yeah.
going to happen.
I really believe in Oregon's team this year. I really think they have a lot going for them. So I'm picking Oregon.
I feel like Oregon State is a carbon copy of a Utah team. I feel like they can run all over Washington. I don't know if Washington's gonna be able to stick with them physically. I got Oregon State.
It's weird. My gut just says that Oregon State's not going to be 10-1, and so I have to go with Washington here. My gut just says Oregon State's not going to make it to 10-1.
Yeah. This is the hardest game I've had to pick so far. I do think Oregon State is the better team. And I think that at home, that's big for them. But I agree, 10-1 for
10
Oregon
and 1.
State
I
is
don't
just,
think they're that good.
but their schedule just sets up so nicely, I feel.
Yeah.
So I actually
I mean-
am going to go Oregon State with Ethan. I'm
Yeah?
going to pick Oregon State. Yeah.
I like a Stanford win here versus Cal. I think Stanford at home. This is kind of a bigger game for them. Obviously, the Stanford Cal
Rivalry game. Yeah.
game is big.
I like it.
But-
Stanford gets their first conference win.
Troy
Yeah.
Taylor, I think he needs to pick me up, and I feel like they're going to show out and play really well this game.
Yeah, I like that.
Utah at Arizona. I think this has major trap game potential. I'm still going Utah, but I think this is going to be much tighter than expected.
I agree with that.
I think the same thing can be said versus the USC-UCLA game. Both teams going to the Big Ten next year, so I think UCLA does kind of come out on top here. At the
Ooh, you like
Coliseum.
UCLA?
Did I say UCLA?
Yeah.
I meant USC. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
gotcha.
I fumbled my words there. USC at the Coliseum comes out with a win.
I like
Close
that as
game,
well.
though.
Yeah, I think I'm
USC
going
is
USC.
just quite a bit better.
Yeah.
And-
Okay. Final week of the season, and really everything comes down to this
Yes, because winner of this,
week. Winner of that is in the Pac-12
Yes.
title game. And then the loser of that, it depends on the tiebreaker scenarios.
yes,
So who do you got, Oregon State or Oregon? I'm going Oregon. I
I
think
want to say
Oregon.
Oregon State so bad.
I think Oregon has a better team. I think they're going to be much better defending the run this year. I think home really helps them. Yeah, I'm just going Oregon. I think that they are really, really good. And I think they're being a little bit slept on in Pac-12 discussions.
I like how Oregon's schedule sets up. I think that helps them a lot. Their schedule is a big advantage for them.
Things are pretty spaced out with when they play the
Yeah.
teams a little bit. Yeah.
Mhm. And they have teams at home too,
Yeah.
like USC at home. That's a big one.
Yeah.
I have Oregon State winning. Why I say this is I feel like this Oregon State team reminds me a lot of that 2022 University of Utah team or is that 2021 where they won back-to-back games
Yeah.
against Oregon, absolutely destroyed them at home and in the Pac-12 championship game. They have the defense, they have the run game, they have the quarterback that has experience, that can control the clock and control the game in ways that not a lot of other teams can. Again, I think this is all comes down to if DJU is as good as we think he can be. But I feel like Oregon State coming out on a win here.
Oregon,
They ride the hype, being 10-1,
Yeah.
getting to the Pac-12 championship for the first time, and really kind of soaring into probably the biggest game in their program's history.
Well,
Oregon
it looks
State's
like I have the
win.
deciding choice here. I'm going to go with Oregon at home. I don't
Yeah.
think they're losing 2 years in a row to Oregon State.
Yeah, I think Oregon
So-
State being 10-2 is
The
fair.
moment's going to be too big for them, I
Yeah,
think, this
because
game.
they have a really, really, really favorable schedule.
Yes.
Out of the favorites of the league, theirs is by far the best. They don't have to play USC, and they get Oregon at home. They get Washington at home. They get Utah at home as well.
Yes.
And so they don't even have to play
They get
one
Oregon
of.
away.
Oh, they get Oregon away. Sorry, yeah, Oregon away. But besides that, they get everyone else at home. So their
Yes.
schedule sets up super favorably. I think 10-2 is an incredible outcome for them.
Yeah.
And so, if I was them, I wouldn't be too upset with losing that game because they still have a chance to make it to Vegas.
Yeah. Who do you guys like here? Arizona State.
Rivalry game. I'm gonna go ASU. I think they're gonna get it. They
ASU will have one good
Yeah,
win this
they're-
year,
they're-
at least.
they seem to play well, play their best against Arizona as well.
I like Notre Dame over Stanford.
Yeah, I
What do
agree.
you
I
guys
don't think
think?
that's that close.
Yeah.
Nothing to add.
UCLA over Cal. How do you guys feel about that?
Nothing to add there. I think I agree with that.
Yeah,
Utah over Colorado.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty easily.
And
In the
then
Apple Cup. I'm gonna go Washington.
That could get a little bit
It gets-
squirrely.
It could get
perhaps.
frisky, but I am going Washington at home.
Me
Same.
too.
Okay, so with that, it looks like we have a rematch, Oregon State in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
according to the tiebreakers. That would be brutal for USC fans, as I'm sure they would believe they were better than
Yes.
Oregon State. At
That'd
10
be
and
extremely
2,
brutal for
as a
them.
wild card at 10-2, though, they would still have an incredible chance at making a New Year's Six. So would Utah as
Yeah.
well. The Pac-12 would definitely be cheering for Oregon in that one because I think a 12-1 Oregon probably makes the playoff.
Yeah, it is in a college football playoff situation.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even think I realized how good Oregon State's schedule was until we started picking the
until
games.
we actually put it down. It's like we didn't pick anything outrageous for Oregon State. Nothing
No,
we picked was
because-
like out. We didn't have them beating Oregon at home, running through every game. It's like
How their schedule set up was just unbelievably good.
we
And,
even picked an upset loss to Arizona
yeah,
for Oregon State. Their
Yeah.
schedule was that good.
and I don't think that 5 teams are going to have 9 wins or more in the Pac-12. There will be upsets, but upsets are just so hard to forecast, especially in the Pac-12. Because
Exactly.
there will be that ASU over Washington game that no one's expecting. There will be that game that like Oregon losing to, who did they lose? Like Stanford a ton of times over the past
Exactly.
5 years.
Where it's like, how is that even?
How is that even possible? And it happens all the time. So we're forecasting.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
Oregon State gets struck by 1 or 2 of those. They're no longer in
Yeah.
it anymore. Same with Oregon or USC or Utah.
And the other disclaimer is injuries, obviously, that could totally change how it looks.
Yeah, completely. But we're going to keep updating this series as we go along. I think this was something really interesting to watch just to get a feel for what are must-win games for your team,
Yeah.
what are big like ranking games for each team,
Yeah.
whose schedules are lining up favorably.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be learned from this.
And every single week during the season, we'll go to whatever that week is and go talk through all the games and pick them on this
Yeah.
Let's Talk Pac-12.
And look out for the other Power 5 conferences. We want to do from all of them. We're not. It'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to share.
Yeah.
We have a lot of opinions that may not be a little bit controversial for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
Coming from this side of the room. It'll be a lot of fun. Comment, subscribe, like this video. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate.
Yeah.
Share with us your thoughts. It'd be a lot of fun. We
Exactly.
would love to comment and interact with every single one of you. Answer every single comment.
Yeah. Let us know if we're sleeping on your team or if we're overrating
Yeah,
them. Or,
let us know if your team sucks.
yeah. And if
I
your
see
team
you
is
Stanford fans.
Yeah, if your team is way better, if you're a Colorado fan who thinks Dion's going to turn around in 1 year,
You're in the national championship
yeah,
game.
then come, please, by
If you're
all
a
means,
Washington
comment.
fan who thinks 6-3 for conference is slanderous, come let us know.
Yeah, exactly. We want to hear all your hate. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. This has been another episode of Let's Talk Pac-12, and we'll see you later.